very excited to have you, Whitney. I have to say, it's a rarity to see solid investigative journalism nowadays. The internet is filled with, fake news, junk news, whatever you want to call it. When you contacted me for a brief interview and told me about your topic, one of my first responses, I think, to you was, you're going to come under severe attacks. And you're taking on some really, 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 really major targets here. And you seem to determine to take this on and see it through. And when the first part for your article came out, I was floored.
But it's also really interesting in terms of like the Snowden Omidyar government, connections that you were just talking about, is that Omidyar is also well connected to Snowden's former employer, which is a very powerful government contractor known as Booz Allen Hamilton. They've been called the world's most profitable spy organization. And so Booz Allen Hamilton, famous executives from there include James Clapper, who's the former director of national intelligence, who committed perjury but wasn't prosecuted ever.
It's very interesting, these billionaires who are in bed very intimately with these government agencies such as the CIA, they seem to be most interested in those types of journalists. You, for example, gave example of James Risen, Matthew Cole, Glenn Greenwald. If you look at them, and before he left Intercept, Ken Silverstein, you're looking at the group of journalists who had gained previously, whether justifiably or not, I'm not going to go in there, but gained the trust of whistleblowers and potential whistleblowers, have established themselves as the gate or the channel where whistleblowers, insiders from the government who wanted to leak documents, to expose government wrongdoing, etc., would go to. And it seems to be that with Peter Thiel, when we are looking at Pierre Omidyar, we are looking at Bezos, there seems to be, they are co-opting, buying out those types of journalists more so than others. And you are exposing it very nicely, and it's all documented there with links. But aren't we seeing this really, really alarming trend there?
It is interesting, for sure. And that's why I made a note of it in the second piece, the strange coincidence that you have in the case, two of the most famous whistleblowers that have been jailed after Obama started jailing whistleblowers, not counting Chelsea Manning, of course, were John Kiriakou and Jeffrey Sterling. And they were both convicted of having leaked classified material to journalists. Those journalists, in Jeffrey Sterling's case, was James Risen, and in John Kiriakou's case was Matthew Cole. Both of those journalists now work at The Intercept. That is very interesting.
$10,000 actually is a lot of money, but it's nothing compared to the millions of dollars being offered by Pierre Omidyar. How could you top that? Because giving you $1.5 million a year plus another $1 million bonus for journalists to use their title or past reputation to trap whistleblowers, get the information, then they privatize the information. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Is it something that they later use to blackmail the government, get even cushier positions and more lucrative billions of dollars contracts, people like Omidyar? Who knows what kind of games go on behind the scene. But as a whistleblower who has been burned in the past, because I started very naive and green, and later as the director of National Security Whistleblowers Coalition, going through the cases of whistleblowers that had gone to certain journalists, I have been trying to do my best to warn them and say, do not go to publications like Intercept. Do not go to people like Glenn Greenwald or these people, because there is no such a thing as safe leak when you come to these types of outlets. There are no software that you can actually drop information that the government can't decode and won't get you. So I have been trying to sound the alarm bells.